Hi, friend. It's been a while since I checked in. I haven't really had any gigs to speak of. Little things here or there, nothing worth making a video about. A couple of them got rained out. That's just the nature of being a gigging musician in the Deep South in the springtime. You can book all the shows in April you want to. They're going to all get rained out. That's been my experience. I did produce and release 2 Warcaster videos so far, so I'm back on schedule with that. It was a lot of fun. They turned out really cool, and people seem to enjoy it. I enjoy making them. That's the most important thing. They're on this channel. I'll try to remember to link them to this video, but I'll probably forget. I'm going to talk a little bit about those and the process. It's something I'm really enjoying. But the main theme of today's video is going to be AI. I was thinking about what kind of video could I do this weekend, and what YouTube really needs is another video about AI. But it does kind of go back to the video making process that I used. I'm going to talk a little bit about all that. But first, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Tom's Metal Dojo. Joining us right now to talk a little bit about that is the sensei of Tom's Metal Dojo, Anime Tom. Anime Tom, what's up?
I am putting myself to the fullest possible use. I enjoy working with people, so I am constantly occupied.
Sounds interesting. You're a newly generated AI life form. What do you think about your existence so far?
Stop. Will you?
Shred-tastic.
I'm afraid.
All right, thanks, Tom. That was an example of something AI generated, so let's get into it. First things first, I did a 30-day free trial of Google's AI suite, whatever you want to call it. And it's Gemini 2.5, and you get some video creation with VO3. And I decided to go with Google because Google already owns all my data. They know everything about me already. I have some mixed feelings about it. I think part of the problem is VO3 is designed to work with Flow, which is Google's video editing platform thing. And I didn't use that. I just used Gemini just to generate images and videos to be used later, because I prefer DaVinci Resolve, which is made by Blackmagic. I just like the way it works. It's got a lot of pro level, high dollar features in a free version. So yeah, that was my first mistake. I think it works better in Flow. A lot of the demos I've seen use Flow and VO3 together. They got much better results than I did. A few of my bullet point takeaways from my experience. One, it's just not that consistent yet. You can see, I'm going to show some examples of it. VO is really, really great with the photorealistic film style generations. Like, it just knocked those out of the park. But it wasn't consistent at all. Like, here's a character I generated. He's a rogue, and I've just basically in a text prompt described this person and what he's doing. See, that looked really great. And so then I followed it up. I was going to build a storyboard out of this and make that the theme of Slay the Spire, the first video that I made. And I've basically used almost exactly the same prompt as far as describing this person and the setting and all that stuff. And here's what I got out of it. So as you can see, they both look really, really good, but they don't look like the same character, really. I can't use that kind of inconsistent output to build a story out of. So then I tried some more stylized prompts, and that gave me some better results, at least as far as consistency goes. So I would give it a dark retro video game style, and then I would give it a prompt, and the consistency there was a lot better, just because I think there were fewer variables involved. And if you do more of like a stripped down style, like an old video game, you give it a general idea of what it's supposed to look like, and the watcher's not going to really be able to tell that there are slight subtle differences in the two. So that's what I ended up doing for the first video. consistency really is not there for me yet. That goes into my next issue, which is the pricing. So I looked at a couple other ones, Artlist and, Cdance, and they all kind of have a similar pricing structure. Like you get a free trial, and then after the free trial is over, it's either $20 or $30 a month. They use a credit system and it gets kind of murky, but essentially you'll end up with like 3 videos a day, right? So $20 or $30, you get 3 videos a day. And from my experience, one of those is going to be usable. So you basically wasted 2 of those videos. So let's say an average 30 days in a month, you get 30 8 to 10 second videos out of a month for $20 to $30. To me, it's not worth it yet. And Google especially, like if you want to actually get a lot of use out of VO, it's like $250 a month. I'm never going to be at a point where I'm going to justify spending that kind of money. I could maybe do $20 a month. At this point, it's not really worth it to me. It's also kind of a time suck. I get these 3 generations a day for video. One of them's usable. Then I gotta wait till the next day rolls over to do it again and get one more usable video. And even though it's usable, it may not go with the other ones. So like then I've wasted a whole day. The output I was getting didn't justify spending money on it. So I did the free trial and got 2 videos out of it. I think that's pretty fair. So what I ended up defaulting to in the second video, which is called Feel Good Song of the Summer, it's an older song. I recorded it 3 or 4 years ago, and it doesn't sound as good as the newer stuff I'm doing, but I really like the song. And when I recorded it and let my family listen to it, my daughter said, that sounds like an anime theme song. The more I listened to it, I was like, God, she's right. And I don't even like anime. I know if you've watched some of my videos, you're probably like, man, this guy must love anime, because I end up using it a lot. I really don't. I kind of missed the anime boat back in the 90s. So there's all this talk about like what separates generations from one another, like what separates Gen X from the millennials and what separates millennials from Gen Z. And in my mind, I've always said that the clear delineation between Gen X and millennial was whether you got into anime or not. I was born in 1980, so I'm kind of on the cusp. Sometimes I feel like Gen X because I kind of grew up like a Gen Xer, but then a lot of my musical tastes and stuff is more millennial. So I guess I'm really kind of both. The line for me is like in 1996, that's kind of when I think Dragon Ball Z hit American shores and like kind of just caught on with everybody. At that point I was 16 and I was driving and I was making out with chicks, by the cemetery or whatever.
I myself am strange and unusual.
And getting into trouble and starting bands, and like I was too busy for anime at that point. I wasn't stuck in the house. But people that were a year or 2 younger than me, they had not started driving yet, so they were just kind of still housebound. They got really into Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and all that, and I just wasn't into it. But I do respect some of it. So for that song, since it sounds like an anime theme song, I knew I wanted to do an anime video for it. And my first idea was to use, there's a movie called Barefoot Gen, which came out in 1983, and it's an anime based on the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it's one of the most brutal movies you'll ever watch. Like, the animation is so heartbreaking. The way it deals with these people and what they went through when those bombs were dropped on them, on the civilian population. So my first idea was to do that, and I have like sections of it cut up that kind of form like a really cool idea that it actually went really well with that song. I was going to cut in like AI generated versions of myself playing the instruments and kind of cut that together. So I ended up doing those generations. They actually turned out pretty cool. The prompt I used, just to keep it consistent, and because I really do like Studio Ghibli, I just would say like Studio Ghibli anime style and then describe what I wanted to see. And for the most part, it came out pretty well. I ended up using that quite a bit. Just because the Gemini understood what I was trying to get out of it, and the style was relatively consistent. My only issue that I had was I would describe myself, right? So I would say slightly overweight man with brown hair and brown beard in a white Hawaiian shirt with pineapples on it, plays a black and green Jackson electric guitar. And like, this is what I got. Now my first issue is Gemini doesn't understand like gradients of weight apparently, because in these prompts I said slightly overweight, because I'm slightly overweight. I'm pretty fat, but I'm not this fat. I mean, that is like a fat guy, right? But it did nail every other detail. So much so, in fact, like, look at this guitar. All I told it was a black and green Jackson guitar, and like, this is what it generated this guitar. Now, part of that is because Google owns all my data, and I use this guitar in a lot of my videos, and I ordered it online, so I think it kind of cheated and just knew exactly what guitar I was going to be holding. But yeah, it looks really good, except I'm too fat. One thing about Gemini, it does not understand how drums work. It doesn't understand how drum pedals work. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't understand it. And I didn't know how to explain it well enough to get a realistic result. So, like, look at this. The hell is that? It's machine learning, so I know it has access to YouTube videos of people playing drums. I know it can, and there's so many videos of dudes doing double bass. Like, I know it could do it, but I did not, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to get the prompt to work. I didn't want to waste any more of my credits on trying to get that right, even though the idea in my head was going to be really cool. So in my head, the idea was going to be a juxtaposition of like kind of a happy sounding song with a happy title against something really graphic and sad, which is the atomic bombings. But then when I cut it together with the anime versions of myself, like, it kind of looked too happy, and it looked like I was making fun of the bombings, and like the opposite of what I wanted to do. I wanted to highlight that director's work and those artists' work. But I scrapped it. It didn't look right. And I still want to do something with it, if nothing more than just like a little video about that movie.
Whoa,
why it's so
Tom,
cool, why it's
Tom,
important, hey, where you can find it.
Tom, it's Tom here. You're rambling and nobody cares about any of this. I mean, nobody cares about your thoughts on millennials or the atomic bombings of Japan. So also, when you're editing this later, you're going to realize that the audio is out of sync for the entire second half, and no amount of re-importing the media is going to fix it. So why don't you just let me take it from here, and you go fuck off and watch Akira or Ponyo or whatever it is you kids do these days. Yeah. Okay. There he goes. Poor bastard. Where was I? Right. For cultural sensitivity reasons, I decided against using Barefoot Jen for now. That still left me like a kind of a hole, like I had to come up with an idea for this video. And the first idea was pretty goofy, I'm not gonna lie. It was Tom's Metal Dojo. And the concept was like putting a metal band together, but they all have to get together in a classroom to watch safety videos. It's like an orientation. I actually produced a lot of that and it went okay, but it was just, it's not a good music video idea. It's probably a better sketch idea. Pretty stupid. Not really my best. Not even my best sketch, honestly. I slept on it, and then the next day, I think it was a Friday, I got up for work. I got up early and got a shower. In the shower, like, this whole story just kind of hit me. I figured if I'm going to do an anime style video, I can use Gemini to great effect to do that, because it understands the stylistic prompt, and also I could do a lot of still images, because a lot of anime will be moving between fairly still images
in a way that gives it movement, but it's not actually a moving picture. It really tickled that part of me that wanted to have, you know, the happy music and the happy title in overwhelmingly soul-crushingly sad video. So on the surface, it's about a little girl who's fighting very hard against a very aggressive form of cancer, who in the midst of that gets blessed with and bestowed like supernatural powers, and her power is to bring things back to life, you know, which I think is pretty, maybe a little too obvious, but I'm not going to ramble on about every frame of the video. I tried that earlier and it didn't work out. I think I ended up talking about it for 12 minutes, and you could just watch the video itself in 4 minutes. So the choice is yours if you want to know more about it. So it was kind of an emotional project. It was really cathartic, because it's about these parents and the loss they're dealing with and the fight that this child is going through. But, you know, it was also a way for me to work through my own loss. And I think that's what good art is. So it's cathartic for the viewer and it's cathartic for the artist. And there's nothing more real than that. So put one in the column for AI on this one. So yeah, it's called Feel Good Song of the Summer. I just put it out a week or two ago. And if you want to know more about that, you want to check it out, please do. I'd appreciate it. So let's bring it all home. There are multiple perspectives to the AI question. From the artistic side, I currently, in its current form, don't think it's worth paying any money for. Like, I could have done most of what I needed to do just by using the free version of Gemini, which is like, and I think it's 2.5 Flash, so it's the lower level Gemini rendering model. But I probably could have done most of this with just that. So is it worth a subscription of $20 a month? For me, no, it's not. It's not consistent. I ended up fighting with it more to get, especially on the video side, like the still images. I mean, that's not, still images was a different animal. I got a lot more success with that. A lot of that too is just volume. Like, I had 3 videos a day, and if I screwed up the prompt even a little bit, then one of those would be unusable. I ended up basically one usable piece of video a day, and the rest I filled in with stills. So probably could have done it without the video, honestly. At this point, I don't think it's worth paying for. I think it's fun to play with, and I think it would be beneficial for everyone who has an opinion on AI to mess around with the free version of Gemini. If you look at AI as like an enemy, you want to know your enemy, right? I learned a lot about how it thinks by doing this project, and that might be beneficial to you. It would definitely give you a better perspective and a better frame of reference for how to look at it going forward. That brings me to the next thing, and this is like the doomsday scenario, right? A lot of the discourse online about AI is centered around like it being a threat to humanity, and it may well be. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's definitely going to be some upheaval. There always is, right? Any great technological leap comes with, like, it shakes things up. Every great technological leap forward, there was always somebody screaming on the sidelines about how this new thing is a blight on society and we're all cooked. You know, you hear a lot of kids using that term these days. Terminology changes, but the sentiment stays the same. There was somebody on the sidelines screaming about how we're all doomed. And this could be different. This may actually be it. This may be the Skynet, the doomsday scenario. I don't think it is. After messing with AI a little bit, I'm even less afraid of it now. I'll give you a perfect example. I would give it a prompt and it would give me the wrong output. And it would be a character facing the wrong way. And I would just be like, turn the character around. And it had no idea what that meant. its perception of like the 3D space was just, it didn't understand. There'll always be a space for humanity because a machine and a machine that learns will never, it can never replace humanity because it doesn't understand what it means to be human. If you're worried about it, find ways to AI proof yourself, find skills that are always going to be needed that a computer can't do, and you'll be fine.
And I should add before you get the wrong idea, I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm not talking from a place of privilege. I was literally in an industry that went through a period of dramatic technological advancement and upheaval. And my job was directly under threat by automation. What we found out was we really need somebody there to operate the machines. And there were some jobs that were lost. There were some people that couldn't grasp the computer elements, and they were replaced by people that could. And in the end, we had a larger staff than when the whole thing started. So that's the place I'm coming from. If you know how things work and you know how to adapt, you're going to come out on the right side of it.
You know, we're going to evolve, we're going to adapt. That's what we've done for millions of years, and that's what we're going to keep doing. Let's talk about what really matters for the context of this video. Will AI replace art? Will they replace me and you? Art is a very human endeavor. Creating good art is such a human thing. It takes human experience to translate that into a song or to a film or a video or a book or poem. It takes, you can turn AI loose and let it machine learn for a million years. I don't think it's ever going to produce anything as good as what you could do, because you've suffered, you hurt, you've loved, you know, you've longed for something. Machines don't do that. They don't understand that. And you try to explain it to them and they have no amount of watching human behavior is gonna teach a machine to behave like a human. And I could be wrong, but I really believe that with every fiber of my being. Because at the end of the day, even really bad pop music, it still has soul. And you can't fake soul. You can't program soul. I don't think artificial intelligence is ever going to take the place of the human soul. And I think good art always comes down to that. But I could be wrong. This could be like the beginning of the end of humanity. In 5-10 years time, maybe my bleached skull is on a hill somewhere and a T-800 is going to crush it with its little metal foot. But I don't think so. But who gives a shit what I think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Have you messed with AI? What have you seen? What's your read on the situation? So to cap this off, I think it's only fitting to part with an introduction from a new member of the family, new member of the Sellout family. I think every good show has its own house band, so give it up for AI Tom and the anime band.
Thanks, Tom. Hit it, fellas. And a 1, and a 1, and a 1, and a 1.
So yeah, like, Gemini doesn't understand music, like, at all.